Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jeb, and we're back on Modern Warfare 2019. This game, if you've watched any of my videos, you already know how I feel about this game. In yesterday's video, I asked if people wanted me to do this, and then I just figured to myself, I'm gonna do it anyway. 34 days played on this game, 1.49 KD, 1.5, whatever. That is a long and storied 1.5 KD. Got 232,000 kills, at an average of 27 kills per game, which is not insane, I think. But for what I was doing, honestly, looking at other people around me, it's higher than most of them. A few people that are a little bit higher that probably are using like a lot of kill streaks and stuff like that, which I don't. Or they could run parties, or they just have a little bit more figured out than I do. So Modern Warfare 2019, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. Everybody knows that, but this game absolutely has the best feeling and responsiveness of any Call of Duty we've had. And this isn't even just in the slide canceling thing. It's also somewhat in the gunplay as well. Modern Warfare 2 isn't bad or anything by any means. And it generally still feels like this, but it's this, but slower. The snappiness, and also that weird little penalty that they added into jump shotting and stuff, where they made it so whenever you jump shot and you're trying to ADS at the same time, it'll decrease how fast you ADS by like a large margin. Let's mess with the graphics real quick. Hold on.
Capture the objective. Enemies got the hard point.
Oh man, I haven't slide canceled at all with this controller, and holy, feels so crispy. This shipment is so much easier to look at too. Even though like I'm not the biggest fan of this shipment, it's so much easier to look at. Also, the aim assist feels a little different, or maybe I have a setting that's kind of off, but something feels weird about my ADS. Yeah, but look how fast I can aim in just off of nothing. There's no penalty. There's nothing in the game trying to slow me down. That's the biggest thing with Modern Warfare 2. That little change right there makes it so like jump shotting and stuff isn't as good. It's still good though. It's still the best thing to do in my opinion. You just have to be able to build the weapon right in most cases anyway, and still get builds together in the game that are snappy. They're not exactly as snappy as this, but definitely snappier than, you know, how it would be if you built it a little bit slower. Also, the fact that we have hardcore and not the tier 1 or whatever this shit is. Just having the kill feed down there makes it so much better, man. I turned some of the textures up a little bit to try to make this game look a little bit better. I will say visually, like fidelity wise, Modern Warfare 2 is definitely a better looking game than this. This game is real, like, I don't know how to explain it, real smeary, sludgy. Even when I turn my textures up, everything just seems lower res. I'm actually enjoying myself right now, mostly because I know that I won't have to get back on it. But also, these games all tend to be a little bit more enjoyable, like a year plus afterwards. Usually when the new Call of Duty comes out, the last Call of Duty ends up being way more chill. Like, I bet Vanguard is cool right now. And I like that game. Like, that sounds super entertaining to me. I just know not a single person is asking for Vanguard, though. I could also obviously be enjoying myself. The skill-based matchmaking and engagement-based thing is kind of popping off right now. The game probably knows I haven't played in whatever amount of time, so they want me to get into easier lobbies where I'm just absolutely slaughtering everybody. So it'll make me be like, oh, cool, it feels so good and so fun. It's a sick game, man. It really is. The ADS speed is just so crazy on this. I can't get over how much faster this actually is. It only feels tighter because everything is actually responding to you. The game doesn't feel like it's lagging behind you. The game always feels like it has a hard time keeping up with you on MW2 because of all the penalties. Like the amount of times that I've done inputs and my game enters me into an actual input queue where I'll press multiple buttons too fast, but it'll still do them even though I'm not still currently pressing them. Some fighting games have it. That is just not a thing that's usually in Call of Duty. It's usually very snappy and responsive in the moment. There's not usually a long like input queue, if any at all. So when you're used to being able to like, you know, slide cancel, kill that guy, up over, bunny hop, double bunny hop, slide through another guy over there, then you go on to Modern Warfare 2 where this is still generally the same, but once you start doing actual inputs, even if I still played without slide canceling, there's still so much more that I can do because of just that ADS penalty that was there. It just generally makes it feel worse. Now, given it's also really discouraging to like new players and bad players whenever they see people doing, you know, slide canceling around and doing all that stuff, it's not as welcoming to new players. I get it. I get why they do what they do, but at the same time, it might not be working out. To be fair though, I think most of the loss is in the Warzone side of things. Multiplayer on Modern Warfare 2 is chill. Say what you want about shoot house shipment, people caring about winning games, whatever. It's good. My perk, Battle Hardened, is actually reacting to gas and stuff that these guys are throwing. Whereas on Modern Warfare 2, I swear it still affects me. Don't know why that's a thing. 107 kills first game back. Guaranteed next game is going to be way sweatier. It would be so interesting if we could have seen the player counts. obviously people are only seeing the player counts on Warzone through Steam charts and stuff like that, which is a small portion of the player base in the grand scheme of it all. There are also still a lot more players over on Battle.net, but if we're seeing that amount of players over there on Steam, and you're seeing that decline on Steam only, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just Steam, but in general, you don't see that kind of dip for no reason on one platform if there isn't something that didn't happen, like platform-wise. You kind of have to assume that the same thing is happening across all other platforms for the game. Now, given those numbers will be much higher, but the slope, it's still absolutely happening across, you know, the other platforms as well. We just can't see. I would have loved to see how this game would have looked on there, and Warzone 1. The player numbers like fluctuated between like metas and stuff like that, because I remember back on Warzone 1, there were a lot of people like peak DMR zone. Even though everything was really, really popular, people were getting very, very fatigued right before they ended up actually getting rid of the whole DMR meta. There were people at that point talking about playing other BRs. I remember this. And some people were talking about viewership and stuff at that time. I remember. Oh man, I do not miss this version of Shoot House though. Other Shoot House is way better. Yesterday, I actually managed to go and snipe one of those 1440p 360 hertz monitors. I've been trying to get one for a long time. I know that there's like these new 240 OLED 0.03 millisecond response time ones, but since I got like, you know, frames that I'm consistently getting over 240 at least, I figured I could use more hertz. I figured at this point I'm actually like losing value. So now, while I might not be locked at 360 for Call of Duty all the time, I do play a lot of multiplayer and I do get over 240, so definitely worth it. I've been looking for weeks on trying to get it. I had a PC par picker up for it where it would take all the listings of the product and it would tell you if it's available at the time or not. Yesterday I just decided to randomly click on it and I ended up finding one. I'm not even gonna tell people where. One left in stock, and unless I got scammed, that monitor should be here in like a week. These aren't even like the lowest settings either. I try to make the game look a little bit better. Modern Warfare 2 and this, but I mean, I'll turn it down for more frames if it's worth it. For like YouTube videos, I'll have it set as a certain way, and then once I'm done with that, boom. I mean, yeah, I'm still saving clips and stuff, but I just haven't edited them that much. My hard drive's actually getting full, but there's also a shit ton of Elden Ring in there. I don't know. As I'm editing this video, I might just do, you know, I am on your team. I might just do the old-fashioned way. Face cam, one part at a time, who cares? No, I got some of the video edited. I feel like I don't have enough of the experience recorded. I don't know how to explain it. So, I mean, general opinion on this game after coming back to it. Super responsive, feels really, really nice. Probably the best feeling Call of Duty we've had. At least right now, you know, until inevitably all the pain sets in on my thumb and you have no other choice but to absolutely destroy your hands in the process of just being able to compete. Everything's faster, everything's snappier, everything's just tighter in general. As soon as I do an input and I try to cancel the input, it immediately is doing its thing. The game just doesn't feel like it's too slow to react to your inputs. It's just there. It's reacting. It's firing all the time. But fidelity-wise, it's absolutely a downgrade. Doesn't look nearly as good. The temps are actually even lower on this game. I guess that makes sense because Modern Warfare 2 is definitely more demanding just by the way that it looks. I don't know what my current clock is. I'm gonna assume it's probably around like 2800 if it's at like 40, 41. Also, I realized that I could upload my videos in 4K and they actually look insanely good. One thing though is that every time I try to render in 4K, for some reason, I don't know why. Now, it is 1440p content, but I'm just upscaling it. I keep having these weird issues where I'll have like corrupted frames. Like the audio will be fine and everything, but visually like some weird stuff would happen, like crazy pixelation will randomly happen, or there's like a pixelated gray blob. Sometimes you'll see like two parts of the video like splicing together. It's really weird. And all I did was change the resolution on my current render settings for 1440p. So the only thing that I can think of is that because maybe the original video is in 1440p, me rendering it in 4K is making something weird happen. But I feel like that shouldn't corrupt the video. I don't know. I can't actually change the resolution I'm recording in. It's recording whatever my native resolution is. It's whatever. I'll figure it out. The game is just so responsive. But unfortunately, the only playable version of this game is basically those two maps. And I've had my fill of, you know, this game. Feels good, but everything else, you know. But yeah, anyway, if you guys want more in the future, let me know. I'll just leave this installed or so. No, I won't. I'm just gonna uninstall it, but I'll just reinstall it if people want more in the future. If you could take one thing from this game, from Modern Warfare 2019, and put it into Modern Warfare 2, what would that be? I feel like most people will just say like slide canceling and stuff, but maybe we'll get some actual interesting answers. Me personally, I would just like them to reduce the penalty on the jump ADSing stuff. I think that would make the game feel a lot better. Doesn't really need it though. That was fun though. I'm gonna stop before it's not fun though.